Hello and welcome to the Whoniverse. In this video I'm going to be serving you a look into the history of a species which were forced into slavery but escaped through the power of song. This is the history of the Ood. The Ood are a fairly simple race that depend on a strategy of brain over brawn, 3 brains to be precise, as the Ood have a huge hind brain binding all Ood together. The Ood are peaceful but can be possessed relatively easily, causing their eyes to glow a different colour, with the most common colour being red. So who exactly are the Ood, and what do they get up to? Let's start with the 2010s, as an Ood was a resident of the Hidden Trap Street in London, which housed lost aliens on Earth, under the protection of me, also known as a shielder. As with the rest of the inhabitants, it appeared cloaked in human form through the use of lurkworms. It was observed by the 12th Doctor and Clara Oswald as it performed maintenance on a Cyberman. The Ood were a peaceful herd race. However, in the 39th century, humanity discovered the Ood, enslaved them, and used them to perform menial tasks throughout the 3 galaxies of the second great and bountiful human empire. The external hind brain of the Ood was extracted by Ood operations and replaced with their translator globes. With their connection to the Ood brain severed, they followed the orders of humans. Ood operations kept this procedure a secret from the rest of humanity, spreading the belief that the Ood were naturally servile and offered themselves for servitude. By the 42nd century, it was claimed that every human had an Ood servant. They were often not even regarded as being alive and were considered to be expendable. Despite this, an activist group, the Friends of the Ood, lobbied for the cause of their freedom. In 43K2.1, the Ood were being used for menial labour on Sanctuary Base 6 on the planet Croptor. The Ood knew of the prophecies regarding the beast, which the Walker expedition would later discover. The beast possessed the Ood and made them into his legion in order to besiege the human party of the expedition. They were defeated when Danny Bartok, the expedition member in charge of them, broadcast a telepathic flare which reduced their field to basic 0. This created a brainstorm, which caused them to collapse. However, the telepathic field began to reassert itself after a time. When the 10th Doctor broke the gravity field that kept Croptor in orbit around the black hole K37 Gem 5, the Doctor was only able to make a single trip in the TARDIS to rescue Ida Scott from suffocation. He was unable to save any of the Ood on the base, who had just been freed of the beast's control. All perished, but were given posthumous honours. In the year 4126, the 10th Doctor and Donna Noble visited the Ood sphere. They found Ood operations and decided to learn the origins of the Ood, and what or who had turned them into a race of slaves. At the time, the red-eye disease was becoming more and more common. They discovered that the disease was caused by the Ood brain's subconscious reasserting itself over the Ood thanks to its efforts of a member of Friends of the Ood, who had infiltrated the company secretly. Ood operations head, Mr. Halpin, was unwillingly transformed into an Ood, as a culmination of him taking hair conic deliberately contaminated with Ood graft by his own Ood servant, Ood Sigma. The Doctor deactivated the field that was suppressing the Ood brain's telepathy, and it sent out a song that was heard by everyone across the 3 galaxies. Humanity, now knowing the truth about the Ood slaves, returned them to the Ood sphere, where they were set free and allowed to live in peace. Around the year 4226, the Ood's development had been unnaturally enhanced, allowing them to build an entire civilization and extended their mental powers. At the same time, the Ood had nightmares of a mysterious face and of time bleeding. In response, they sent Ood Sigma to 2059 to contact the 10th Doctor. He eventually arrived on the Ood sphere and telepathically connected to the Ood Council. When he saw the Master, he immediately returned to the 21st century to investigate. The Ood watched him, and when he finally began to die, they telepathically sang to him. Now the next group of events are a variety of references, and events which have not been officially dated. So, the Ood was one of the 11 creatures who appeared in the hologram projection shown by the Atraxi, as they were scanning Earth's history to check as if it was protected. Then at some point an Ood, later named Nephew, had been transported by a time rift to a bubble universe, where he was severely injured from the journey. He was repaired and taken control of by House, to use as a medium to drain another's soul and mind for his plans to remove TARDIS matrices. Unlike Auntie and Uncle, Nephew was brought along by House when it took over the Doctor's TARDIS, using him to try and kill Amy and Rory. Nephew was destroyed when the 11th Doctor and Idris landed the junk TARDIS on him, ripping him apart at an atomic level. The Doctor lamented briefly that Nephew was yet another Ood that he had failed to save. At some point, Albert Einstein was brought to the TARDIS and was accidentally turned into an Ood by his experimental liquid. However, the 11th Doctor was able to reverse this, but the chemical itself gained sentience. The 11th Doctor then rescued an Ood from the Androvax conflict, with the intent of returning him to the Ood sphere, but the Ood at some point escaped from the TARDIS and took refuge in the home of Amy and Rory. For the next month or so, the Ood insisted on acting as the couple's butler, until the Doctor was able to retrieve him. An Ood was also present in the Maldivorium when Colony staff visited the establishment while searching for the 12th Doctor on behalf of Davros. And that is it. The history of the Ood. The strange species, originally thought to be willing servants, but instead became slaves to an empire. The Ood were set free to live in peace in the Ood sphere, with an Ood popping up here and there in different Doctor Who stories. Who knows if we'll see them again. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please click that like button. Which Doctor Who characters would you like to know the history of? Leave the suggestions in the comments below. Oh, and if you want to see more videos about the history of Doctor Who, you can check out our playlist full of videos, and keep up to date by subscribing to this channel. Apologies for the rather quick video this week, but I've got some great videos lined up for later, so don't worry. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.